Hello everyone, 76 Patriot here, and it appears that Donald Trump has officially selected his vice presidential pick. Now, this is several days old. This was reported all across the media, but I just thought I'd do a video on it sooner rather than later. So basically, well, before I actually get to the front runners, Trump told NBC, one of the, of course, lamestream media outlets, that he's chosen a vice president. Um, and he said, in my mind, yeah, Trump said, when asked if he's decided. Now, this is interesting. When news asked if his pick knows it's them, Trump responded, no, nobody knows. So I find that particularly interesting. And this, he also may announce, he didn't say he will, he's not guaranteeing it, but he may announce it, and I expect him to, at the RNC in July. And that would make sense. But here's the front runners. This is probably the most important kind of part of this piece of news. Is Doug Burgum? Sources have said that it's either Doug Burgum, J.D. Vance, or Marco Rubio, and I am mixed, leaning towards kind of excited about these results. With the exception of Burgum, Vance I think would be amazing for a vice president. He was like top tier candidate in that slot, in my opinion. Rubio is definitely a halfway decent kind of candidate. I would like him much better than somebody like Doug Burgum, who I just don't like him for various reasons. But it appears that all these others that were on the list, Scott, Cotton, Stefanik, and Byron Donalds, and even Ben Carson, are not the front runners anymore. They're still on the list, I guess the short list basically, but they're not in the top 3 right now. So it appears Trump has narrowed the list significantly. And I found this also interesting. He said it's never really had that much of an effect on an election. Now, he said that a while ago. He told Fox News earlier this year. But regardless, he is right in that regard. Sure, people are saying, if he tapped somebody like Glenn Youngkin, he might be able to make a play for Virginia. I think it's dangerous picking a candidate just to try to get one state. Even though I'm not opposed to the idea of a Glenn Youngkin, Trump Youngkin ticket, that's not going to happen, I don't think, at this point. So I really do think it could be also somebody totally out of left field. These are sources. If this is not Trump himself confirming it, then this could all be wrong, obviously. But I do think it'll be one of these people at the end of the day. Now, Doug Burgum, he is, just to get this out of the way, he is a very kind of, I guess you could say, establishment, just Republican. And he's really only being mentioned a lot because he has a lack of a record. I mean, like a bad record. He hasn't said a ton of controversial things or hasn't had any scandals, and he's pretty inoffensive, seemingly. I don't like him only because he is just another one of these very rich, kind of liberal. I have nothing against wealth, obviously, as a conservative. He gives me really bad vibes. He has ties to some pretty bad people, billionaires, very liberal people, and he was also very squishy on the area of certain social issues, let's just say, a number of years ago in North Dakota. Vance, I really like. I mean, he is a populist, he is a MAGA conservative. The only problem with him, not him at all, but the only issue if you tapped Vance is that people are raising this concern that Ohio would be lacking, you'd lose one of your best senators, and is that worth the trade-off to get a great, solid VP? Because chances are whoever replaces him in Ohio, more likely than not, it's somebody going to be inferior. Rubio, I think, is a good kind of halfway candidate to where he is establishment. He's still establishment. He would not be my pick. I wouldn't be rushing out to see, oh yeah, Rubio is VP, but I would much rather have him than a total establishment hack, because at least he's gotten more conservative in his voting record. So enough of me just flapping my gums on those guys, but I do think it would, we all expect it to be one of those people at the end of the day. And I found this also interesting, too. This is an article, actually, this is probably the article from NBC. And Trump also said, little extra nugget that wasn't in that previous article I was just showing you guys. He said, adding, the person will most likely be at Thursday's debate. Now, this is probably not huge news because I would anticipate a number of these people are going to show up at this debate, all those high profile kind of guests watching this unfold. Because all these people are prominent that we're talking about, prominent GOP figures. So that's not really saying, a ton, but it's just interesting that Trump decided to say that. Yeah, he even said, I think we have a lot of people coming. But still. So I think this is good news. Um, and yeah, even right here, he said maybe a little before, could be at the convention. So he didn't even guarantee that he will, but I believe he'll tap officially name the person at the RNC. It would make total sense. So that's basically it for this one, guys. Just thought it was newsworthy because obviously, as Trump seems to now know who his VP candidate will be to make up the other part of his ticket. So this is interesting. I hope it's Vance, or at least somebody that's based and solid. I don't know if that's actually going to happen in reality. Regardless, I hope this all goes well. I hope um, that it'll be a good ticket for this November, whoever Trump has decided, and that it'll only increase his chances of winning and possibly win over more independents and more people that would otherwise not have come out. So that's it for this one, guys. Stay tuned for more news on this subject and more just newsworthy topics about politics and elections and conservatism. So thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.